What up? What up? What up? It's Kingdom Cast special edition tonight. We got our boy fresh off the road. He just
Scoot.
came from the Shine Bowl. Caleb, where you working at now? You at Arrowhead Pride now? Still?
Yeah, I'm still at AP. Been there
Okay.
for three seasons now. This will be going on four here. This season coming up.
Shout out to my boy Ron. Ron running the whole thing now. I like that. Not the whole thing. What's the other guy's? Randy. What's the other guy's name?
John
Oh,
Dixon. He's our
John
lead
Dixon. That's
editor.
what his name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ron's the associate editor, and then you got me as the lead film analyst over there right now. But we're rough season for kind of the first year of kind of some new promotions over there. But we're trying to do some good work here this draft season.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. I'm ready. I'm ready for AP to return back to his glory, man. It's
Working
time.
on it, dude. We're working on it.
As long
So
as they
I ain't
got
gonna
Caleb,
even
they got the sauce.
I ain't gonna even waste your time, bro. How do I get Daryl Jackson on the Chiefs?
You like Daryl Jackson a lot, huh? You've been
I like
studying him
Daryl.
before this?
Okay, first of all, I'm biased because I'm a Florida State guy.
Okay.
But then we need that D lineman. We need to replace Nadi and Pinnell. So I feel like he's one of the guys that I'm looking at that I want to see on the team. Some explosive, a big guy. He came in 6'5", 280, I think. 280, 290, something like that. Higher than
he
that.
was he was 330.
Oh,
He's probably between 320 and 330 is what they weighed him in. I tell you, man, you see some of these guys and they're like college heights and weights. They don't match. But like he's every bit 6'5", 320, 330 in that range. Like he is just a big, humongous person out there. Like he was easily the biggest guy overall at the draft. And then they did or not the draft, at the Shrine Bowl. And then they do the measurements and he had the longest arms by far. But he showed me quite a bit this week. I mean, he's very long. He uses those levers well. So he's able to create like a lot of explosion and a lot of extension. Smart guy too, though. I was talking with him a little bit about like spying quarterbacks and quarterback contain because that's really a big deal in the NFL, just with pass rush containment. And he's just talking about the importance of communication with, linebackers and other defensive linemen and making sure everyone's on the same page. So I was impressed with his football IQ as well as his physical abilities.
mm-hmm. He's one of those guys. He kind of reminds me of Chris Jones in a way that maybe it's not every play that he dominates, but when he chooses to dominate, he can. And you kind of want to get that consistent effort. I think you can coach that into him. Did you see any of that? The inconsistencies, maybe, of not bringing it every play.
Yeah, you saw a little bit of that. I mean, they rotate guys so much at these things. It's like when they do go in, it's hard for them not to like go all out just because there's so many guys that got to get run. But the thing with him that I think he needs to work on that I think he tried to was that pad level because he's a big, tall guy. So sometimes he can play a little high. And when he gives up his chest and he plays high, that's when he's a little bit easier to block. But when he's coming off low and firing his hands out and beating linemen to the jump, that's where you can like really see some of that disruption. But I think with this stuff with the pad level, it's just going to come down to some of the, like you mentioned, we were messaging earlier, just a little bit of coaching. And Chiefs got a pretty good coaching staff. They'll take a chance on probably like a fourth round pick on a guy like that who, best case scenario, you could be drafting a Pro Bowl caliber defensive lineman. Worst case scenario, you have a big run stuffer to kind of be, your new Mike Pinnell for the next few seasons.
Yeah, I love that. Like I said, I'm biased. I'm a Florida State guy. So off the rip, I'm off, off the rip. I'm trying to ask somebody from Florida State, either Gerald Jackson, Jameis Winston. Somebody from Florida State needs to be on this roster for me. There were okay. So you had an article, I think came out either today or yesterday. You had your three guys. Daryl Jackson was two. Who was your number one guy on that list? Was it the kid from Navy?
So that was just some defensive tackles. I'm actually working on a standalone kind of deal for the guy from Navy, Landon Robinson. He's been a huge riser this week. Obviously, first team All-American. He's going to carry that tag with him, but I had a chance to talk to him also. Super awesome guy. I'll have a little bit more out on him later, but the two guys I also had on my top 3 list was Aaron Hall, defensive tackle from Duke, who he did a lot of things that I was like, oh, Spags would really like this, or Spags would kind of be a fan of some of this stuff. And then Caleb Proctor from Southeastern Louisiana. He's definitely a small school, draft diamond, super athletic. I asked him the day before the first practice, I go, what's your favorite pass rush move? And he goes, double hand swiping in the first rep of the one-on-ones and O-line, D-line. He busts out that swipe move, and he was easily getting past guys. I kind of saw some Turk Ward in his game, but both of those guys were super interesting to me.
Do you have any info on if the Chiefs have talked to him or interviewed with him? I'm sure they did.
So at the Shrine Bowl, every team meets with every player. I haven't seen anything on any formal stuff. I'm not sure of it. These guys were just guys who I was impressed with from what I saw, because I think they do stuff the Chiefs like. Like Aaron Hall played a lot of defensive tackle at Duke, but he lined up almost every snap of this event at defensive end, and it kind of was like, oh, that's kind of like, Mike Dana kind of does a little bit of stuff like that, or Proctor being kind of like Tershawn Wharton in a way. So that's kind of what I was looking for. And then you ask guys, who's the best offensive lineman you've ever played against, and you can kind of narrow it down and kind of see where they're at with their level of skill, and kind of a lot who, they're comparing, their game against, and see if maybe it's a guy that's already in the National Football League.
Yeah.
Right. So who jumped off the page for you immediately, like day one?
As far as just their as far as performance, so I was really because I was down there with Ron. So Ron honed in on a lot of the skill players. I focused in on a lot of the line play and front seven guys, players like that. But Landon Robinson from Navy did pop off a lot. He isn't the biggest guy in the world. He's only about like 5'11", probably 285, 290. But he told me when I talked to him, he goes, some guys I like to emulate in my game after, like a guy like a Geno Atkins. And you can kind of see that show up a little bit with the way he plays. He's super quick. He uses his leverage to his advantage. He has a wrestling background in high school. Obviously, playing for one of the academies, he's got a lot more responsibility than just like a regular Division I college football player. But seeing him out there against like some of these guys that go to A&M and Georgia, and being able to compete against them and really show off what he can do. Because in college, he was playing zero nose at Navy, and they play a lot of schools that kind of play like they do, just like option football, run the ball, play defense. But here he got to line up as a one tech. He got to line up as a three tech and kind of show his ability to penetrate or rush a little more freely than he did within the confines of the Navy defense. So seeing that pop off was awesome. I really hope he gets a combine invite. The guy is going to be super athletic. Like, he's going to put up some numbers at that. I mean, probably some big jumps from him, some explosion, definitely. But he stood out. And then Proctor from Southeast Louisiana, just his explosion and the ability he has to disrupt was really impressive to me.
Yeah. Caleb, I did want to ask you one question about a guy that I think the Chiefs actually had a formal meeting with, was Damon Claiborne. I know this is probably on the skills position side, but what if you did get to see anything from him, what did you like about him and what he could probably bring to the Chiefs?
So I've actually been looking at Claiborne for a little bit now. I know he got interviewed by the guys from KCSN. I was about to try to talk to him before they ended our segment. Just from seeing a little bit of him in practice and then kind of evaluating his film in general, I will say he does have like a lot of explosion. I don't know necessarily where he fits with the Chiefs right now with just what they have in the backfield, but he's super quick. He's super athletic, and he can run after the catch. I do think he'd be a back that comes in and gives you the versatility to play in the pass game. Now, I think a lot of his skill set kind of meshes with what Rashard Smith does, but I do think he's going to give you a back that you can kind of, get off to the races, break one of those long runs, and do stuff like that.
Shout out to Michael Bobby. You know what I'm saying? Taking responsibility.
What's up, CJ?
What up, gang members? What we doing?
It was good.
Talking about the Shrine Bowl, man. We're going over some of the defensive tackles. I keep thinking about to this. What's the quarterback, Diego? How the school had him at 6'1", and the kid is like
6'1" is crazy. Ain't nowhere near that.
He is nowhere near that.
He's 5'8",
I could've
3/4.
told you that.
he's like 5'9", and it's like, oh, that's not gonna work. I thought that was interesting. Did you see any measurements that like stood out to you, or did you see anything like, oh, that's not the measurement they were perceiving him as? You know how that goes, where college got you at one height, you're really, if you're 5'11", you're 6 foot, right?
Yeah. I to be honest, I didn't see a ton of stuff that was like super crazy. I mean, I know Pavia was supposed to be down here, but he got called up to the Senior Bowl, so he didn't end up showing up. I mean, the Wisconsin left tackle Riley Mallman, he's like 6'8", but he's only got 31-inch arms. That was kind of wild. That doesn't really add up. I'll say, there wasn't really anything that was like crazy. So the safety from Texas Tech, Cole Wisniewski, he actually had a good week also. They list him at like 6'4", like 220. He came in at 6'3", 215, but really not that far off. He was kind of impressive, dude from Texas Tech. And then
is he related to Steve Wisniewski?
I'm not sure. I have no idea.
It can't be a lot of Wisniewskis just riding around.
No, probably not. And then I'm trying to look at what his name was. There's a cornerback from Vanderbilt that's like, he's 6'3". He's got like 34-inch long arms. I'm like, oh, that's
Kobe Taylor.
Someone Spags would be looking at. What's going on, man?
You said Kobe Taylor?
Yeah.
Kobe Taylor.
I did want to ask you, Scoobs, about if you saw anything from Malachi Lawrence.
Yeah.
I know the Chiefs are kind of in that market where they may be even thinking about doubling up on the edge in this draft, if it's a possibility. You see any kind of spark or anything from him this week?
Yeah, he won a lot of one-on-one matchups, and he's a guy that you're going to draft him. He's probably not ready to be an every down player. Don't know that he ever will be, but he is explosive off the edge. He'd be a good second defensive lineman to add once you get more of your complete player, and then let him kind of just be your speed guy, your bend guy on the edge there. But he made a few plays down there this week. He wasn't like getting blown out or anything. I just think he'll struggle a little bit in the run game once he starts going against some of the pro level tackles.
Yeah, so more of a pass rush, especially. So.
Yeah.
What up, Scoops?
What's going on, man?
What's up, man? I ain't seen you in a minute. What's going on with you?
Not too much, man. Just we had to get out of that ice storm down there before we got stuck.
Oh yeah. Nah, I feel you. No.
That would have not been fun.
Yeah, that would not have been fun at all. I know that you've been covering a lot. I know we talking a lot of people. They're talking about Harold Perkins. They're talking about Darrell Jackson. That's Country's guy. One of my guys. I'm a big Mizzou fan. You know that about me. Talk to me about what you've seen. Have you seen anything out of Keegan Tross? Do you feel like if the Chiefs were to take him, that would be a solid pick? Is there anything that because he's not I think we agree that he's not a high profile guy, but he might be a guy that can add some good competition. Have you seen anything from him?
Trost didn't actually end up being down there. I'm not sure why he pulled out, but he didn't end up being down there. I will say about him though, his floor is his floor. He's played like 7 years of college football. So like he's been around the block a time or two, so he doesn't have like a ton of time in the NFL to show what he can do. I do think at the NFL level, he can be a guy that comes in as like a swing guard, or he can play left or right guard as a backup initially. I don't really see him projecting out to tackle, but I mean, I think definitely just from like watching him throughout the season, like I do see a right guard in there, a guy that could possibly start as a right guard at some point. I think if you get down to the 6th or 7th round of the draft, that's a guy you consider taking just to kind of bolster your line. And really, the Shrine Bowl is obviously, of all the bowl games, it's not one of the, it's after the Senior Bowl, but it's not the one where you're going to have like a bunch of first-round picks. Like, I think the best guys at the Shrine Bowl are probably at best like a 3rd-round pick or a day 2 guy somewhere there. Probably like Daryl Jackson will probably be one of the higher drafted players out of there.
That's the boy.
There's a handful of offensive linemen like Amel Wagner from Notre Dame. He'll probably go out and have a good combine. His stock will fly up quite a bit there. But the thing I always think about with the Shrine Bowl is this is where you find, pull a starter from who's going to be a guy in the 6th or 7th round that ends up starting for 4 years for your team. Kind of like, they tote Isaiah Pacheco a lot down there because he's been one of the more recent guys to come out of the game. But this is where you're finding kind of those draft diamonds. But the crazier thing to think about is, there was probably 80 guys down there, and probably 5 or 6 of them are going to outlive their rookie contract in the NFL, are going to outplay their rookie contract and get a second like long-term contract in the NFL. So, and these are all dudes from major Division I colleges. So it goes to show how crazy hard it is to play in that league.
Mm-hmm.
Very fun. Yeah.
Hey, yo, Scoob, I need some back. I need 2 guys, bro.
What's up?
Let me see on my little Shrine Bowl. I saw some clips on my dog, Harold Perkins, LSU linebacker, and Torian York, the Texas A&M linebacker. I saw a couple clips on both. Didn't get a whole lot.
Yeah, we only got to be down there for just one practice. We did have to leave early. I will say with Perkins, though, he was very, like, all of the big media outlets were kind of all over him. Same with Torian. And that makes sense because those guys are probably going to be guys like probably, in the 5 to 10 guys that do get a second contract in the NFL. But with both of them, especially with Perkins, you kind of see his lateral movement ability. I thought he looked pretty good kind of getting to the ball, doing that kind of stuff. And then it wasn't like full wrap up. They were on thud tempo, obviously, for a situation like that. But I don't know. Torian's got the interesting physical gifts too, so I'm gonna be curious to see what both of those guys can do at the combine, and then just kind of where a lot of these other evaluators have them moving forward. But I think they're both guys that are going to end up playing in the league for a little bit.
I need both one of them to be our LB3 for sure.
That'd be nice. I'll tell you what. Go look. Red Murdoch from Buffalo University. He's forced a lot of fumbles in his career. Obviously, small school guy, maybe a little bit undersized, but he had a walking boot on. But I've watched a little bit of him. He's kind of impressed me a little bit. Some of the stuff he's been able to do. I think he'd be a good.
Oh, I see him. Yep, I see him.
Be a good backup linebacker. Eventually, maybe become a guy for the Chiefs.
Red Murdoch.
Let me ask you about a local guy. I'm pretty sure I saw KC Sports Network brought him up. I don't know what you've seen of him. I know you said you had only one day. Even though people don't know that he's from low-key local. Talk to me about Malik Benson, a wide receiver out of Oregon.
To be honest, I can't tell you a whole lot about him. I haven't gotten a chance to get down to receivers yet, so I'll be on that eventually, but I can't tell you a whole lot about him at the moment.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
We're gonna check in with Ron because Ron did the skill guy. So
yeah,
we definitely gonna check in with Ron pretty soon.
Ron tap in.
Ron, call me.
Yeah, look, we got to figure it out. But yeah, the reason why I brought him up is because a lot of people, especially how I've seen him play. Me personally, even though a lot of people they don't like smaller receivers, I think that you can still be, if you can be productive anywhere, then you deserve at least a shot. We've seen Malik bounce from he was at first at Alabama, flipped over to Florida State, wasn't really productive. He gets a shot at Oregon and is able to he's able to up his production. How do you feel like being around, if I don't know if you saw anybody from the Chiefs representatives, do you feel like you have an idea of where they're trying to go with it?
No, I mean, I saw like some Chiefs scouts from afar, and they were just like there, probably high-fiving about getting EB back. But I mean, So the thing about the Shrine Bowl, I mean, every player meets with every team, whether it be like for a little 15-minute deal or not. So it's hard to say what's like formal, what's not. I think where you start to see more of the teams locking in on guys is the combine and then pre-draft stuff. So we'll have a pretty good idea here soon. And I mean, I just think with all these guys in general that are out here trying to perform at the draft, you know, if you're a guy that's productive from a big school, the teams that are good are going to run their background check on you and see what you're about, you know, figure out why this didn't work at school A or why it didn't work at school B, but why it happened here. And do they think they can make it work? So I'm sure all that stuff is going on behind the scenes, but I'm not an insider. I don't have a ton of inside knowledge based out of what I was able to watch with my own eyes down there.
Yeah, I got
Did you get any eyes on Dante Corleone, Cincinnati D tackle? Big fella.
Yeah, he's tired. I will say,
big boy.
He's a big boy. I mean, he is very comically built, like 5'11", maybe 6 feet generously, and then just shoulders is wider than a refrigerator. So he's kind of a fun. He hurt his ankle though. He's walking around down on a boot there. He looked pretty tired though at the end of some of those drills. I think it's been a minute since he's been really full go. He actually refused to weigh in. I don't think they listed him a weight, so I think he was probably running north of 340. Would be my guess.
Jeez.
What about I know I'm throwing a lot of names at you. Damani Jackson, cornerback out of Alabama. Have you seen?
I saw him down there. So I mentioned this before the other guys came on. Because there's so many prospects and players down there to help ease what we did, and since we only got one day because we had to leave for the weather, I focused in on the O-line, D-line mostly. I've looked at linebackers, tight ends, and some running backs a little bit also. I didn't have like a ton of time to look at a lot of the receivers or skill guys outside of just like some of the bigger name guys. So, I mean, obviously he's a big name guy coming out of Alabama. I don't have a specific eval for him at the moment, though. Obviously, as we get more into draft season, I'll have more time to do this. We're still finishing up like Chiefs coverage, getting our bow on everything for the season. But, you know, once we get here into February, March, and April, that's really when I'll be hitting all the draft stuff super hard with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. So we don't have much time with you. I wanted to chop it up with you about how'd you feel about the Andy Reid Zoom call today? Did you were you there, or did you hear about it?
I was listening to it today. Where I was thinking, I mean, he seemed like he's in a good mood. He seemed happy. I mean, hard not to think, you know, he's got EB back. That's a big get for him, because I think that deep down he knows Andy's not like the come down on him hard guy, but Matt Nagy certainly wasn't that guy. But I think that just from everything we know about EB, he's going to be well liked again. He's going to be well respected. Rod actually has an article coming out because there were some UCLA guys down there who played under EB. So we had a chance to talk to some of those guys that played for EB at UCLA, and I won't spoil it or take too much away from his article, but it was all positive. It was all that this is a guy that cares. This is a guy that doesn't just like want the running backs or the offense to do good. You know, we had a defensive lineman telling that, you know, he said that EB didn't just coach on the coach offense. He said he tried to coach everyone he could, no matter what. So that's the kind of guy you want on your football team. I always remember in 2019 when I went up to watch training camp and EB threw LDT out of practice, which was wild because he wasn't playing well. But, you know, this team doesn't have time for mistakes. Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, they've only got so much time left. You know, Mahomes is obviously feeling the pressure to win because now you've got this new threat in the AFC with the Patriots and all of these guys. So they need to get back to, it sounds cheesy, but get back to being accountable. And sometimes being accountable means you got to rip some asses a little bit. And I know EB can do that. And he's also a high knowledge guy too.
Nah, I feel you. Because, I mean, honestly, from what I've seen is that a lot of people off of the EB conversation. They're a little bit speculating on the fact that he didn't mention anything about any type of scheme improvement, any type of things that he knows that confidently that he knows that EB can do. From your analysis and how you feel about it, do you feel like EB is able to do some of the things that fans have been screaming about, i.e., running the ball, having some type of development and some type of, you know, just improvement all around, especially in the offensive category? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'll start with this. It was in between games yesterday. I was a little bit bored, and the idea just popped into my head. For whatever reason, I was thinking about this game, this 2010 Monday night game between Philly and Washington. It was the Monday Night Massacre, and Philly went out and dropped like 60 on Washington at home. It was like Michael Vick's best game ever. It was insane. But looking at that, I'm just like sitting here watching this Andy Reid offense in 2010, mind you, and it's the same stuff, and they're just absolutely gutting these guys across the field. Andy's scheme has worked for the last 30 years. It doesn't need to have a hammer smash it. He just needs, someone to come in with the tool bag and lube a few things up, fix a few things. So I don't think it's going to be like this massive scheme change. But the thing you do notice from the 2010 game, there are a lot of snaps where the Eagles were under center that game. And I think they can bring some of that back, and I think EB will be able to help with a little bit of that. Just because that's what they did in Chicago, very effective under center running team. And, he played a big part in that with his ability to coach the running backs. So it's a copycat league. Every team's going to copy little aspects of everyone. But at the end of the day, the offense is the offense. It's going to work. They just need to figure out ways to tweak it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Caleb, like I said, thank you for your time. I know we got short time, and we can check you out on Arrowhead Pride, right? Anywhere else?
Yes, sir. No, just Arrowhead Pride. You find me on Twitter at CJ Scoobs. Be working on some more Shrine Bowl stuff, and then be watching closely for the Senior Bowl and all that here later this week, and be really starting to hit the draft stuff hard here. I'll have article about 5 offensive linemen I was interested in coming out this week for the Shrine Bowl, and then I'll be doing probably the Landon Robinson standalone piece because he's been a guy that's been impressing me here, and hopefully he has a good game tomorrow night.
Yep. Also a Daryl Jackson piece. Before you go, I got one more question. You are on the board. Pick 9. Jeremiah Love, Caleb Downs, Ruben Bain, and David Bailey are all on the clock. Who are you running to the podium to get, Caleb?
I'm gonna go Ruben Bain. He's really interested in me. He's really interested in me. I think he can play inside. I think he can play outside. He reminds me a little bit of Tom Hawley, to be fair. Kind of like he's got some Tom Hawley, just not Justin Houston traits where he's like super powerful, but he's super bendy also. So I've been in on him for a little bit now, and then seeing him ball out in the playoffs was awesome.
How worried would you be about Spags seeing his measurements?
I mean, I would be, a little bit worried because obviously David Bailey fits a little bit better, but in the same breath, I think the Chiefs are starting to get over this, like this guy has to be built like this and look like this type deal. Andy Reid didn't draft a tackle with arms shorter than 34 inches for like 2 decades, and Josh Simmons doesn't have like the world's longest arms, but he makes it work because of how quick he is. So I think they're starting to realize you don't have to put everyone in the same box. Different guys can be different. So good football players.
Preaching to the choir, my friend. You are preaching to the choir.
So you guys know ball. You guys know ball.
We appreciate you, man, for coming through. Shrine Bowl was interesting. Like I said, my guy made a huge impression. I'm curious to see your guy, Landon Robinson.
Yeah, he's the Navy midshipman. He's been, if you just look him up on Twitter right now, he's been making a lot of impressions on a lot of people that have seen his game this week. So hopefully the NFL is, taking notes on it, and at least he gets a chance to go play somewhere.
Yeah.
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 All right, I look forward to that article, man. Keep us posted and tell Ron that we need to talk. Ron, you listening? I'll holler at you.
Will do. Will do.
Ron is my guy.
Scoobs, make sure you hit me back, gang. Hit me back, Scoobs.
Will
Yes,
do.
sir.
Will do, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for
Yes,
coming
sir.
through, man. I appreciate you.
I'll talk
Definitely.
to y'all.
All right.
Scoobs.
Fellas, y'all watched the EB press conference today. What were your thoughts today?
Did EB actually smoke?
No. I mean the Zoom, the Andy Reid Zoom call. I'm sorry. Let me be specific.
Wasn't nothing out of the ordinary that I already didn't expect. Look, man, I'm in the camp now. Like, Andy got to show me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I love Andy and I appreciate everything he's done here. But it does come to a point where things can start to get stale, and I don't want that to be the case for him because I want to see him be successful. I want to see him win many rings, as many as he can win before he's ready to be done coaching. But
right.
Ultimately, like, bro, this is, like I keep telling people, this is a results-based business. If you don't produce the results, you can't be here. So I don't want people taking that as me clamoring for the Chiefs to fire Andy or anything like that. But you can't have this type of quarterback play and continue to be unsuccessful. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, we don't want a Josh Allen situation.
The narrative and the standard all changed once 15 walked through that door. Once you were willing to take a risk on him and give him the keys to the franchise at 23 years old. So you gotta adapt with the league, man. So like I said, just show me. You gotta show me.
Yeah. I mean, he said a lot. He didn't say nothing at the same time. The word change has been thrown around a lot. The word accountability has been thrown around a lot.
Love all that. Are you gonna do it? Because it's the accountability for, like, I love the accountability. It's great.
Yeah.
Everybody's wants to be accountable now. Be accountable about making changes to the scheme, because that's what's hurting you right now. I don't know if you guys saw Seth Kaiser's article as well too about the fact that a lot of people say that the injuries is ultimately what affected us. That's not what affected this team. The scheme this year was dry. It was stale. And watching it week in and week basis, you could tell teams were figuring us out. So how do you adapt and change to that? Like, you got to be willing to look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that, I got to change these things around and do new things now.
Right.
We talked with D-Mac last Thursday. I approached it with EB being the OC gives Andy Reid more time to be more of a CEO type of coach. I'm up here, I'm watching everything, but I'm up here. Let me be creative. Let me be that OC that I'm used to, and then I delegate to you, and then you delegate to your guys, which is also something that was said today about EB directs players, he directs the coaches, and it's all Andy Reid's message. I don't think if Andy Reid's the CEO and EB's the vice president, so to say, when Nagy was the vice president, I don't think he was delegating properly to the players and the coaches of what our CEO expects. And I feel like Andy Reid is more comfortable with an EB who can go out and he could tell, this is what I want, this is what I need in order for me to chill and just be creative up here and work my magic. So I don't have to do my job and your damn job at the same time. And I feel like he was doing Matt Nagy's job at the same time. So I feel like it's freeing for Andy Reid to be. I just think he trusts EB more than he trusts Matt Nagy. Not to say that he's mad at Matt Nagy because, he gave him props today and gave him love, and he's always going to try to find his guys a new job. But I think EB allows him to lay back and focus more on the creative part of the job. You feel me? Does that make any sense?
Yeah. My biggest bone to pick though with all that is that like the players ultimately, bro, like you're getting paid to do this, right?
True that.
If I have to bring this one guy back to basically you're telling me I gotta bring EB back to hold y'all hand. It's like I gotta bring the substitute teacher in to make sure y'all do y'all homework. And I just don't understand how you can have a team with Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and those guys that have, and Chris Jones, and those guys that have won so many games and so many Super Bowls at this point, and we're still not able to have people be accountable. Like how do we come in and not do our job? That makes no sense.
Okay, but here's the thing that and it's not an excuse, but maybe they were too successful too quick out the gate. It was people on this team that didn't know nothing but AFC championships and Super Bowls.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like maybe they got complacent. We about to three-peat. We about to do historical. We went 15-2. Y'all can't beat it. You know what I'm saying? I think it started to creep in, and maybe the outside noise started to creep in a little bit, and people got complacent. And now it's like, all right, so we need somebody to come back and light fire on your ass. But what you're saying is not a good thing. It shouldn't be like that. But I mean, here we are. You know what I'm saying?
You should not be sitting here 5 Super Bowl trips later and talking about accountability.
No.
It baffles me that we're, I'm 34 years old, man. I'm a grown man. Like I feel like I hold myself pretty accountable on a daily basis. I'm not saying that I don't make mistakes or anything like that, but at the same time, if I can do it in my daily life, then you should definitely be able to do it as a professional athlete.
But even then, some people, some of them kids, some of these guys are kids. We do got a young team. Some of these guys are kids.
I understand that.
Like George Karlaftis has been on the team how many years? He's only 23.
I understand that, and my point is that the leaders.
It's not an excuse, but I'm
right.
I'm kind of backing the guys.
The guys that have been in this room, like you just spoke, George Karlaftis, Trent McDuffie, those guys that have won 2 rings at this point, you should be setting the standard for the guys that are coming in. You should be the one telling the guys that are coming in, like, look, at any point in given time, all this can be taken away from us. Any team can knock us off the throne. You've seen it this year. I mean, the Patriots now are back in the Super Bowl. So at any point in time, none of this is guaranteed to you.
Well,
none of it. Like you don't know when you're gonna get back. You don't know if this is gonna be your last Super Bowl or however many you're gonna play in. So you have to take as soon as you step into that door for the Chiefs draft night or whatever. You gotta take this thing serious. If you don't,
it's a standard when you walk in the door.
Yeah,
it's definitely a standard. Speaking of Super Bowls, and we'll touch on this and then we'll get out of here. I think the Super Bowl was played yesterday between the Rams and the Seahawks. I don't know what that was in the AFC. I don't know what the Broncos and Patriots were doing. I don't even consider that a game. Thanks for coming, Denver. Jared Stidham was not the answer. The weather just kept getting worse, and then the kickers couldn't make no kicks. Much better game. How are you playing out the Super Bowl? Right now, give me a way that the Patriots win this game because it's looking bad right now. I don't see how they win this game.
The first thing would be is Drake May has to definitely play a lot better than he played against the Broncos for sure.
He's been playing bad all playoffs.
That Texans, I would say that the Texans game, I think he played pretty. I think he played okay. I will say that the Chargers game, I thought he had a pretty decent game. He was just one of the sole reasons why they won that game, and he was arguably the better quarterback on the field that night. Drake May has to play better. They got to establish their run a lot better. They really struggled against Denver's front, which I mean, a lot of people this year struggled against Denver's front. But if I would say if they can establish Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson and get those guys going early, I think that'll open more things up for the Patriots in that receiving game. I also tend to think that Seattle's secondary can be taken more advantage of than Denver's. I think Denver's secondary is a little bit better than theirs. But ultimately, if I'm the Patriots, the one player on the Seahawks that I'm definitely attacking is Rick Woolen for sure. Just because some of the mental capacity things that he shows you during the game. I think he's still a very good player, very good recovery skills and things of that nature. But you can get in his head.
He can be had.
He can be had at points in times, and I think Stephon Diggs is a guy that I would definitely try to get some matchups on him in that sense. And then Verbal just has to do what they basically did to Stidham. Keep the pressure on Sam Darnold. But it's gonna be a tough task, man. That Seahawks offense is phenomenal. They move the ball extremely well. Jackson Smith and Jigba is arguably the best receiver in the league this year. Kid can literally play every position, the X, the Z, the Y, and anywhere you put him in the back. It didn't matter where they put him at. He was getting open regardless last night. And then, you adding in Cooper Kupp and then AJ Barner and Kenneth Walker and even Jake Bobo got involved yesterday. I think that Seahawks offense, Mike Vrabel and them, they got their hands full. That Seahawks team is a complete team. It's going to be a very uphill battle for sure.
Trey, you've been waxing poetic about the Seahawks for a few weeks now. You put your Abby on the line. Nice bet. Congratulations. What do you think about this game? How are you looking at it?
Patriots have to win at least two sides of the ball. Two of the three sides of the ball. Starting off with is kind of what DG alluded to. You have to put pressure on Sam Darnold because of the fact that you see that when Sam Darnold has time and he's able to deliver, he's going to find his receivers, especially JSN. You saw a little bit of Jake Bobo, saw a little bit of AJ Barner. Like both of these teams, they have not unnecessary, but not thought of receivers or people who can receive the ball. And I mean that's kind of going to have to be where the Patriots have to lie on. They have to lie on winning the battle in the trenches with 4, because you have to drop those last 7. You cannot try and bring in an extra rusher. You have to. I'm not going to say you have to bracket JSN, but you're going to have a too high safety look to where if JSN is to go one way, he's got somebody there. If he's going to have to go somewhere else, then you have a safety over the top who's got a deep quarters. And the thing about it is that they have to be disciplined on the special teams compartment. I think that a lot of the times is where Seattle's been successful is because of the fact that their special teams game has been able to open up a short field or very favorable starting position offensively. Like Rashid Shaheed, like a lot of the things, the biggest fleece of the trade deadline this year was Rashid Shaheed going to the Seattle Seahawks for a 4th and 5th round pick. That was absolutely one of the most absurd trades now as we look at it, because like now you've given Seattle He's not up to the level of what Percy Harvin was for them, but he's been a very serviceable return specialist for them, and especially the fact that whoever their special teams coordinator is, he's done a phenomenal job as well as being able to show discipline in the gaps. But he's been able to, he's gotten into his bag this year. But I mean, is it out of the realm for the Patriots to win the Super Bowl? Absolutely, but it's a very large handful because of the fact that Adam Ayers is. A lot of people think that Sam Darnold has to play special. We've seen games where Sam Darnold's looked bad, and the Seattle Seahawks have still won that game. That's the reason why I was so confident in this team is because of the fact that you don't need Sam Darnold to be Superman. You don't need him to be a Patrick Mahomes, a Josh Allen, a Joe Burrow, where he has to win the game. You can rely on other sources, i.e., you saw a little bit of Halani last night. Nobody thought that Halani was going to be somewhat productive, but they used him effectively. Kenneth Walker got used effectively. They go out and they use different players from different spots, unlikely sources who they're a next man up type of mentality, and they stepped up and they've been able to do what they need to do. Like nobody could tell me that AJ Barner was even their starter. Nobody knew who their tight end was. Nobody knew outside of JSN. They said, I don't know who you're going to lean to because nobody really believed in Cooper Kupp. Like everybody knows their assignments. Everybody knows exactly what they need to do. They're all bought in. And this is going to be very hard for New England to win. But if New England if New England sets the tone special teams wise and defensively, now you're setting up a situation where you need Drake May to just be able to do what he did on yesterday, which was run the ball. You need him to run the ball. But it's not easy because just like how DG says, Tariq Woolen he's probably their biggest liability. They got a rookie in Nick Emmanwori who's been very, very good. I've been accounting for that kid last year. Around this time.
Rookie of the year, good.
That's my defensive rookie of the year because Nick Emmanwori, I've heard from a Seattle Seahawks fan, he calls him a baby boom. And he's set up and he's shown that he can command that back end. And Nick Emmanwori ain't nothing to forget.
Yeah, I think you got a phenomenal coaching matchup in this variable versus Mike McDonald. Variable versus Clint Kubiak, and then on the other side of Josh McDaniels versus Mike McDonald. In that defense. So this is although this is not the ideal Super Bowl matchup that a lot of us would have picked or anything like that, it does have a lot of good coaching narratives and matchup narratives. I think it's going to turn out to be a really good Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a really close game too.
It's like Jeff Allen said, this is the most unanticipated game of the Super Bowl ever, but that's usually the one that got the best games. It's going to be back and forth. It's going to be competitive, and we all going to be watching it anyway. So
normally when we get the previous year when we've had blowouts in the Super Bowl before, we usually end up getting a very classic Super Bowl the next year. So I think the narrative will be a classic.
I'm going to tell you the number one narrative that's going to get pushed. If Sam Darnold not only wins this Super Bowl, but if he wins Super Bowl MVP, because everybody knows whoever wins the Super Bowl, if they had a decent game, they give them Super Bowl MVP.
Quarterback.
Sam Darnold was in the same draft class as Josh Allen.
Yeah.
The rumors, the accolades, the everything, all of that.
Well,
if Sam Darnold does that before Baker Mayfield, before Josh Allen, before other quarterbacks, it's gonna be crazy.
I think an interesting narrative too, as well, is that Sam Darnold wasn't the Seahawks' first choice. They wanted Geno Smith back.
Yeah,
this ultimately could have been Geno, but he turned down the contract, and they flipped and went and got Sam Darnold. And I remember the day of free agency when it happened, because it was like I think he signed on like the first day. Yeah, people was like, they gave him $100 million. Like, what the hell are they thinking? Like, there's no way. Like, I would give Sam Darnold that type of money after 1 year with the Vikings. And although that 1 year he did play very well for the Vikings, Man, bro, Seattle pulled every punt and it worked, bro. Like it worked, and now they're here at this point. Same thing with the Patriots on the other side. Had to wander in the wilderness after the Mac Jones years or whatever. Finally found a quarterback that can make some plays for you, and and brought in Mike Vrabel and rebuilt that whole team. Now the AFC should be ashamed of themselves. Yeah. I'm sorry, like the fact that you let, and I'm not speaking from the Chiefs' perspective because I don't think we should be ashamed at all, but all the other teams in the AFC, you should be very disappointed in yourself. The fact that you let the Patriots get back to another Super Bowl when we weren't in it and you guys complained about us is absolutely crazy. But,
New England fans are worse than us.
Can we also this reminds me so much of Nick Foles. Sam Darnold's story reminds me so much of Nick Foles because the fact of the matter is Sam Darnold was given the opportunity, just like Nick Foles was given the opportunity elsewhere. He doesn't produce at the level what teams, what people were expecting him to do. Sam Darnold had 2 seasons in Carolina where everybody was so quick to write him off. They did not like anything that he did. He backed up Brock Purdy for a year. He goes to Minnesota, shows a little bit of promise, but it wasn't exactly what people were willing to buy in a whole bunch of money in. And then Mina, I love Mina, but I mean Mina, her tweet getting resurfaced. She getting cooked.
She getting smoked.
But the fact that like Mike McDonald really buys into his players because there's no way you coming in and you're saying we're going to put a lot of our trust and our faith into Sam Darnold, into a 28-year-old quarterback who a lot of people have already given up on, and we're going to make him our starter. And then now Sam Darnold is 5th in passing yards coming into the postseason, tied for 9th in touchdown passes, 34th in interceptions, and 19th in QBR. Those are all probably one of the best stats that he's ever going to get in his career. And now he's also opened up to where I think JSN had 1,800 yards this year. The turnaround of not only Sam Darnold, but the fact that we have 2 former defensive coordinators who have now sat over here and have gotten their respective teams and been able to build their teams up the way that they want them to. They're both here. And now I think that especially now, we talked about how great Super Bowl 49 was. This is a chance for Super Bowl 60 to be as good as Super Bowl 49 was. Yeah. And I can't wait for it.
We'll see. Okay, one more question before we get out of here. Buffalo or Browns? What job are you taking?
Buffalo.
Is there a third option?
Yes.
With the Raiders? Wait a minute. Is anybody talking about the Raiders?
No.
What? The fact that
nobody wants that job.
You mean the fact that they brought in Brian Daboll as a coach operator and then flipped around and had
so did Buffalo. Buffalo's going to hire them.
No, they got somebody else. Who else was in the building?
Joe Brady interview with the
Joe
Raiders.
Brady, that's it. Yeah, Joe Brady.
Nobody wants that job, man.
Nobody wants it.
I mean, people are literally turning down the people that don't even have jobs are turning down the Cleveland job.
Nobody wants that job.
They got him writing papers. They got him doing high school homework. I wouldn't either.
It's Buffalo. Buffalo's. You walk into that situation, you already have an all-pro quarterback.
Is it the pressure?
Drake made top 5, by the way.
But are you really, like, as a new coach, are you really under that much pressure there? Because
Josh Allen's under a lot of pressure to win.
Josh Allen's under a lot of pressure.
That puts you under pressure to win.
True. But I think the main thing you have to take into consideration is that the other 2 jobs you have, like, you go to Cleveland. And I love
there's no pressure in Cleveland, though.
But there's also not a lot to work with. You know.
What other job is open? Arizona? Arizona's not attractive.
You're doomed there too.
Yeah.
There's no quarterback there either.
So All right, let's go this. Buffalo, Arizona, the Raiders, and the Browns. What job gets filled first and what job gets filled last?
Last is going to be the Browns. But honestly, the Browns aren't as bad as what people expect them to be. Like, the thing about it is, if you're looking from the entire standard, I know that they've underwhelmed all that. They have a very passionate fan base. They have, like, as much as people
Yeah,
don't
but they
like
can't play the game for you.
No.
I know. But the thing about it is, on the defensive side of the ball, you have Myles Garrett. You have younger guys. One of my guys, he's on the defensive line for they have a defense that can keep you in the game. Like, the thing about it is, they got you still got Denzel Ward as your cornerback one. Denzel Ward is still productive. The thing about it is, on the offensive side of the ball, you need that offensive consistency, and you kind of found some of your pieces there because you got Harold Fannin Jr. and David Njoku, which a lot of teams would die to have two even decent tight ends. You have Quinshon Judkins, and you have other dude who's in there. They have two comparable running backs. You have a running back system that can be productive if they're healthy. It's a matter of, can you get the right quarterback? Do you believe in Shador? Are you going to put the right guys around Shador? Because
Shador's
the
a
thing
Pro
about
Bowler, man.
that's besides the point.
Stop.
That's crazy.
I was like, I'm
But-
a Shador fan, but stop.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That's a wild one right
But-
there.
If you're willing to take the time into Shador and take away some of those defects that he has, like drifting, like sometimes like Shador, as much as people like to shit on Shador showed some very good stuff that you don't see a lot of quarterbacks do.
He should have been the
Yeah,
starter
but-
all year.
He should have been the
Also-
starter from day one.
But also, are they going to give you the time?
I
Are you going to get?
They have
You-
no.
Are you gonna
how
get-
are they not? You've been
'Cause-
losing for how
You've
long
been
now?
losing.
Like,
if you give him, if you put Mike Tomlin in Cleveland and he does exactly what he's been doing at Pittsburgh, which is being sub 500, Browns fans will go crazy.
Yes, they would gladly take losing in the wild card year in and year out gladly in Cleveland right now.
They would love that.
That's crazy.
Because the thing about it is, the Browns, again, Myles Garrett just had a legendary season. Something we will probably never see ever again. A guy having a 5-sack game. And if he has some type of an offense on the other side of the ball, they win games.
Yeah.
All you need to do is, if you're locked in on Shador Sanders, hey, we're going to take time with you. We're going to work things out with you. We're going to go into the film room. We're going to dismantle some things. We're going to bring up some things. We're going to take some time into you. Yes, he is a project, but he's a better project than what people assume him to be. And then if you're able to get Country, he's got Jerry Jeudy as his wide receiver one. What you
He's
going to do
terrible.
with Jerry Jeudy?
I'll get rid of it.
You
Okay,
gotta get
all that you said make me. I'd rather go to the Raiders. I get to start from the
No,
bottom.
absolutely not.
I get to build it all in my own vision.
No. Because I'm going to keep it 100 with you. As much as I love Ashton Jenney, I don't think Ashton Jenney is able to really be like, he's got to get out of there. Brock Bowers, he's got to get out of there. Like, this is the thing. The Raiders don't have the fan base is what other teams have because there's a bot fan
What
base.
does fan base have to do with you building?
Look, the Raiders' job. It's so.
You're
much
there
you
just
gotta-
because
It's so
big.
bad, but it should be. It should be one of the hottest jobs. They got
Bro,
$100
it's
million
so
in
much,
cap
bro.
space. They got the number one pick.
That's the thing, country. Okay,
They do got a passionate fan base.
No.
listen.
Yes, they
$100
do,
million
bro.
$100 million means nothing to me in
Nothing.
free agency when I don't have a quarterback.
You
I
don't have a quarterback.
You got
So you
You don't have a
Mendoza.
receiver. No.
So you're gonna
Mendoza doesn't say anything.
get veteran players. You come in and say, "Look, man, next year we offer you all this
We're
money."
in.
And Fernando Mendoza
We're in on Fernando
is
Mendoza.
your quarterback. Like,
I love,
you know?
I love Fernando Mendoza. I love exactly what Fernando Mendoza has done. But dog, they need more than just a receiver. You need a receiver. You need trenches. You need another running back. You need a defense. You need
It's
a
a
corner.
lot.
You need a linebacker.
That's what I'm
It's a lot.
saying. I need
The Browns are better
3
built than
years
the
to
Raiders
build
right
this
now.
in my own vision. I can mold it from the ground up because I ain't got shit.
But
I'm taking
okay, but country, you're saying all that, right? As a coach, like you just said, you don't have a lot of time.
Yeah,
You know?
that's the
I go to
thing.
the
You don't have a
Browns,
lot of
right? I go to the
you
Browns.
got time.
I already know I got talent on at that defensive side of the ball. I got all pro corner in Denzel Ward. I got a legendary defensive
Edge
end
rusher.
in Miles Garrett, especially in a few
Oh,
young core pieces, Mason Graham, guys like that in that
Maybe-
nature,
yes.
on that side of the ball. Plus, on the offensive side of the ball, I got a little bit more to work with. You go out to Las Vegas, there's literally nothing. You have Max Crosby, and that's probably
Brock-
it.
You got
Like-
Max Crosby, Brock Bowers, and Ashton Jenney. That's the three amigos of that team.
Right. And you don't even know, like I love Ashton Genty, but like he does nothing without a line. So now I gotta rebuild the offensive line. I gotta get us a quarterback, right? I gotta fix our defense, right? And I gotta
It's a project.
You're probably giving
Hold on.
me maybe 2 years to do that. They just
Do you-
fired Pete Carroll after this year.
Can we talk about cap?
They should
space?
have never hired Pete
If
that's-
Carroll.
we can really go in cap space too. You still
You said
got
what?
We can talk cap space, available cap. Guess what?
How much the Browns got? They ain't got 100 million like the Raiders.
That's because you still got to pay a lot of people. You gotta what is this, year 3 for Brock Bowers? This we're coming up on year 2 or year 3 or about
Damn, like cap space. It's the fact that how do you promote getting free agents there?
yes.
You know, because a lot, and I know some guys definitely will just go for the bag. You know, there's guys out there that will definitely and especially in this free agency class is not that great. So,
It is.
On
It
top
really
of that,
is.
now I'm getting guys now that I gotta convince them to come into Las Vegas and tell them, like, look, it may be 2-3 years before this thing really take off. You know? Versus
You have to draft well, man. All right,
you
I
do.
ain't taking the Raiders job.
No, you're not taking. I'm taking Cleveland. Cleveland. It goes. If you're talking about your list of guys, it goes Buffalo. It goes Arizona. Goes Cleveland. And it goes the Raiders. If you're talking about your 4,
I would agree.
You put
because-
Arizona above Buffalo? I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
above
Yes.
Cleveland?
I think
Yes,
Arizona
I'm gonna
has a
tell you-
little bit more to work with.
I'm
Okay.
gonna tell you exactly why Arizona. Let's go through Arizona. If you want to still believe in Kyler Murray, you can.
No.
Kyler Murray.
No,
You can't
I need
if
a
you want
quarterback off the top.
If you want
The-
to, if that's your last decision, yeah.
The good part about the Kyler Murray situation is that you can trade him or
Yeah.
whatever and get picks out of it.
On the
And
first
guess
thing
what?
smoking.
Yeah.
That'll be
guess
my
what?
first move.
You got Amir Mercado, which a lot of people don't know about him as a running back. He's okay. You just need to go get another running back who can complement him. You got Marv. I mean, as much as people will say that he underperformed, Marv is still going to be able to do what he needs to do. You have an emerging guy who has been able to emerge and show himself as a guy who can go alongside
Trey
Marv and
McBride,
Michael
yeah.
Wilson. You
Trey
have a
McBride.
tight. You got a tight end, yes, and Trey McBride. That you have weapons. You are able to really get your guys, and then also on that, you got guys on the edge. You got some guys in
Josh
Arizona who can play. You got Josh Sweat, yeah. You got one of my Mizzou guys. You got you got one, yeah. You have
And
guys
Walter
right there.
Nolan down there?
Yeah. Walter
Or was
Yeah,
it Harmon?
Walter Nolan.
Harmon with the Pittsburgh.
Walter-
Harmon with the Pittsburgh.
I think Walter Nolan's down there, and then
Yeah.
also, there was a one quarter that people were sitting over there allocating for him. You got a guy named Will Johnson,
Will Johnson.
who a lot of people were not really high on him, but he's able to do that. You got
It's just the
Buda
injuries.
Baker. Yeah, it's just injuries. You got Buda Baker as your safety. You got Calais Campbell, which even though he's old as dirt, he's still getting you at least 5 sacks a year. You got my Mizzou guy, Darius Robinson. Like I said, he's there. Like, again, the Cardinals, if they have competent quarterback play as well as a healthy quarterback, Arizona can be a team that can fight in this NFC West because they were.
Yes, Buffalo, Arizona, Cleveland, and then probably
Raiders. Yeah.
All right. So we was trying something new. Touchdown with Caleb. Give him a follow. CJ Scoobs on Twitter. Check him out on Arrowhead Pride. We're gonna do some check-ins with a couple of draft guys. Daniel Harms. Probably Ron Cup. Their Senior Bowl is gonna be coming up pretty soon. A lot of measurements came out today. So we definitely gonna do some draft season check-ins and more on Red Shirt Podcast. I know Tell the Truth probably gonna be doing their breakdowns pretty soon and choose your off season. And I think we got less than 30 days before the combine.
Yeah, combine is end of February.
Yeah.
We got
so
a little bit of-
we're close. Just be patient. It's gonna heat up pretty soon because this has been a boring off season. I'm not used to being on the couch.
Yeah.
Cancun has been fun, but it's time to get back to work.
Nah. It is what it is. I mean, yeah, Shrine Bowl is tomorrow, actually. So that's y'all got
Shrine Bowl tomorrow, Senior Bowl on Saturday.
Saturday? Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah. I'm looking to see what Daryl Jackson do.
Of course. I mean, I think the thing about it is we're getting to that point to where it goes Shrine Bowl. Well, we already have the American Bowl, so it goes American Bowl, Shrine Bowl, Reese's Bowl, Combine. Then you're gonna have to start having local visits. You're gonna start having draft visits. It is
pro days.
Yeah, pro days as well. You're gonna start. It's gonna start hitting you in a whirlwind. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, the draft's in April." You're gonna look up and it's midway through March because it's all gonna be hitting you like a flurry. I think that I talked to. I know it's crazy. Yeah, no pun intended. But yeah, I think that me and DG, I think that they Tell the Truth has invited me to do when we get closer and closer. We're gonna do a Red Shirt X Tell the Truth episode. That's gonna be in the works. I know, right?
I've never been invited on Tell the Truth.
I know. I felt bougie. I was like, "Damn, is this Wade?"
I don't think D-Mac likes me.
Is this leather? I don't know what it is.
So, man, appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Shout out to Caleb. Shout out to CJ that was in here for a little bit. My boys at Red Shirt Podcast. Great job. We'll see y'all Wednesday this week, maybe. Most likely.
Yeah, probably.
Depending on Trey.
Yeah. Shout out to D-Mac, Chuck, Boogie, the usual. Kingdom Cast Media Network. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll holler at y'all later. Peace.